So, the unexpected's happened again. I'm part way through finishing the build for the two ladies that are living here now, and somehow I've done my knee in. I did it, I thought, climbing over a fence, but later on I realised that it was probably a reoccurrence of an old dirt biking injury that I had. It feels exactly the same, and I'm having trouble with the lateral sideways location of my knee. So I've put this on for now, two Velcro straps and some packaging foam, and that's restricting the movement of my knee, which is helping me to keep it straight. So anyway, despite this, the build's got to go on. We're almost closed in. We've just thrown these windows into the holes, but they're not sealed yet, and we've got to bring the ranch slider over. It's pretty hard for me to carry heavy weights, but it's great because we've got extra help here today, and we will have this totally closed in by the end of the day, because we're expecting the rest of the week at least to be pretty horrible with a lot of rain coming over. So the girls can get on with the inside, and I can get on with some much needed catching up that needs to be done on other jobs. The gardens, because of these two ladies, are coming along incredibly. I've put a retaining wall outside out of completely recycled timbers. The old house truck's gone to another location in town, and there's going to become a glamping Airbnb location in about a year's time when it's had a big tidy up. That's allowed me to get other things done. So with the bad leg, I'm slowed down a bit, and we're not getting ahead as fast as we would have liked. We're against the weather now. We've got bad weather coming in probably tonight, and that's expected to last at least until the end of the week. So we've got to crack on with this regardless.
Seems that people are pulling old windows out of houses left, right and centre nowadays to fit double glazing. That means that these old windows have got very little value at all. And that suits us. Here is the complete pile of rubbish from the entire build. The stuff below is going to the dump. The stuff on the trailer is going to be used in other areas of the build, and these three offcuts and this panel are leftovers. They'll get used sometime in the future. Don's on the roof blowing down the joints between the panels. He's going to give that a good sealing before this rain comes. I'm working on the corner of the build, getting it ready for the corner cappings. The holes in the wall are ready for the windows, and we're just trimming the windows down. This leg injury really has slowed me down.
You might remember in an earlier video, this clear roof that I put up here feeds down a chain and gives me water in a barrel. But since having the girls here, we've needed to double the water supply, so we now have two barrels side by side and a simple system of closing the lid to keep it clean when we have enough water, or if we want to do a first flush diversion. You see, at this time of year we've got seeds from one of my trees that are blowing onto this roof, and when it's wet they stick here. When it rains they wash down. So if we give it a first flush diversion by just letting this go on the floor, and you can see down here how the seeds are just dropping down and not going into our water supply. Simple as that. That's enough for drinking. The showering, that comes off the other roofs and goes through tote tanks and a simple filter system, and that's used in the kitchen for washing dishes and in the bathroom for washing people. Under this cover I've got a combination barbecue that I've been working on. That is a barbecue and a pizza oven and a wood fire and a conventional bread oven all in one. More on that in a video coming up very, very soon. Today I am turning my river sluice for gold panning into a high banker. I'm going to be showing how this has been mounted onto a golf trundler so that I can get it longer distances into the bush. These things are a little bit off-roady and very, very lightweight, so it's perfect for wheeling equipment into the bush on.
More on that in a video coming up. Underneath this cover is my electric bike. I'm now coming up to 500 Ks on that with no issues whatsoever. There'll be videos on that. Taking you down the garden now to show you what it is that we've been up to. In the shadiest spots, we found areas where we can put cuttings out of the wind and too much sunshine. We've got salad greens coming on well here. Salad greens don't mind growing in shady places. We've got some brassicas moving along here. They'll need thinning out because brassicas take up more room. A big head of cauliflower or cabbage ain't going to sit well so close to other things. But we're tight on space. This was a pallet division, a little fence that I created some time ago just for privacy. But the clever ladies, using a piece of my leftover plastic, have turned this into a little micro greenhouse for raising these seedlings. Of course, with all these seedlings coming on, we're going to need to get some space in the garden. That's what I've been working on, doing the more practical side of things. I've built a retaining wall, and I've brought in ute load after ute load of really good soil that we've got from 2 or 3 different sources around here, and I've been tipping that behind the retaining wall to get the garden built. Down here we've got radishes, various brassicas. We're pushed for space, that's why everything's so close. At the back, the radishes are almost doubling in size overnight. We've got nothing in here currently, but coming along here we've got beetroot and carrots. They're still so tiny across the back. Here's where I'm still backfilling. We've got a load of offcuts going to the dump here. These offcuts are from the build of the girls' tiny house, and the girls' tiny house is right here. Built out of brand new panelling, but we've used second-hand windows. The weather's been awful, so it's great that we had a window of 4 days to build this from scratch and get it closed in. We worked hard. We did 12 to 14 hour days. We were working with head torches, but this is now closed in and the ladies can start working on the inside. They want to do it for themselves.
Anyway, meanwhile, in other news, I'm going to be keeping some pretty tight camera angles around here from time to time because I'm now sharing this space with 2 other people. It's all good, I'm just respecting their privacy. These 2 needed somewhere to live, so this is what has been occupying all of us for the last 3 months. The issues of accommodation. They've been sharing my space for quite some time, and building them their own cabin is going to mean that we can ease them in here over the next few weeks and I get my space back. So in a really short time, about 3 months, I've gone through a lot. I've gone through an injury, a systemic sickness that keeps me off work sometimes for days at a time, a change in lifestyle of having 2 really helpful people move in here and help me get stuff done, moving from a tiny house truck that I'd lived in for 23 years, built it myself for next to nothing, lived in it for 23 years. I've now passed it on to somebody else so that they can do the same. Meanwhile, back at Tiny House Central, this cabin that we're building for these 2 is on wheels. I'll show you all about that in a future video. The build, as usual, is out of my favourite. EPS panels, expanded polystyrene steel-clad panels. They lock together, tongue and groove style, and because there's no frame, you can put doors and windows wherever you like. So come and have a quick look around in here, then I'll show you what we've been doing in the garden. Well, the panels are brand new, but the windows are second hand. Really, the only thing that ever shows any wear on these alloy windows is the outside rubbers around the edge shrink a little and they need to be replaced to keep it watertight. And also the handles on the inside, they get a little bit baggy and the paint starts to wear off. So you can buy new handles for about $4 each. The rubber outside, you can push that in with the back of a teaspoon with some vegetable oil rubbed on it or a little bit of dish soap. You don't need special equipment. You don't have to be a guru to do your own aluminium glass replacement. None of that messy old puttying like on the old wooden windows. No rot. But hey, aluminium windows have been around for years. You know all this stuff. The main benefit I find is that they're quite often free from the dump. Right, so this thing is a trailerable 7.2 metres long, 2.7 metres wide cabin. It can be lifted by crane, it can be jacked up from underneath, the trailer can be taken away. There's no timber in the construction whatsoever. This is made out of completely permanent materials. The only timber used is in the finishing around the windows and maybe the door handles.
The whole thing is built on the sturdy galvanised steel frame that I built in the yard here myself. Where's the cabin? Flat packed neatly on the trailer in the background.